Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. Happy lunch day. Happy lunch day. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hello. Hi. I need to see something, so bear with me. Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody. Who's in here? April. I'm just looking to see who's in here. All right. How's everybody doing today? We all know about Assembly Bill 12, right? We want to vote no on that in the ballot that's coming up in November. So put that in your letters to your landlords. Spread it like cancer or California wildfires, okay? Spread it. We need to tell everybody not to limit the amount of security deposit that we can accept. Does anybody have anything that they want to talk about, chat about, something that they need help with? Because I want to address those things today for sure. I see Miss April on here and Miss Anna and Aaron. I see all my peeps. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody has really good plans for this Labor Day weekend. And as a reminder, the first time that we can serve a 3-day pay, rent, or quit for the month of September is not until what day? What day in the month of September can we legally serve a 3-day notice to pay, rent, or quit? If the rent's due on the 1st, when can we serve a 3-day for September?
Tuesday.
Tuesday the 5th? Best answer ever. Tuesday the 5th is the very first day you could serve a 3-day notice for the month of September. So make sure that we're not doing our 3 days prior to, and if we are, we're not serving them until the 5th, Tuesday. So everybody knows. And to help you break that down, Friday the 1st is when rent is due. It's not delinquent until the next business day. Because of the 3-day holiday weekend, that wouldn't be until Tuesday the 5th. Okay, so what I tell my team, I'm waiting for Arlene to get in. I was hoping she would join us today. So what I tell my team is if anybody has a 3-day notice for the month of September that is asking for September's rent and it is dated before the 5th, you have a problem. Hope that makes sense. Arlene, I figure you're on here now and you are locked in. Thank you for your card. Not only did it help me, it helped my kids too. We thought it was very sweet. And thank you for thinking of me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm late.
No, you're fine. I've been waiting to see if you logged on. We received your card and I shared it with my kids too, and they just thought that was perfect. So thank you for that. I love you guys. All of you guys.
Thank you.
I have a question, Patty. Question.
Yes.
Okay, Patty. A tenant of mine passed away a couple of weeks ago, and then the only way we found out was the smell. Any case, the coroner came and removed the body, all that. I need a refresher about what to do with his car parked over there and his belongings in the apartment. I didn't let the daughter come in. I said, you need to have court paper or something like that. So give me a refresher again, how we go afterwards with his belongings.
Contact the coroner's office and tell the coroner to tell you who next of kin is. That next of kin is who you're dealing with.
Okay, and then ask for the contact number and ask him to remove the car and belongings.
They actually become your tenant. The estate of becomes your tenant. So now you need to talk to that person on, are you going to keep the unit? Are you going to be removing his belongings and giving me a notice to vacate? Are you going to be paying the rent? What are your intentions?
Even though he's on Section 8, even though he's a Section 8.
Mm-hmm. So if they want to stay there and pay the full amount of the rent for the following months, to get his stuff out, they have the capability of doing that. If they don't want to be responsible for any more rent, then you suggest they get all of his personal belongings out by the end of day tomorrow.
Even though he's on month to month, right?
That has no bearing. Nobody has terminated the contract, and the estate of your deceased tenant is now your tenant.
Okay, you made it very clear. Thank you, Pat.
No problem. If you need more help, make sure you call and ask me, because this isn't a place to learn by trial by fire. You don't want to make errors. Okay? Arlene's asking a question. In general, what sneaky things have you experienced? Okay, I'll tell you that in a minute. Are they responsible for the month that he passed in? Section 8 will pay you for the month that he passed in. They won't pay you for following months. And if they make the mistake and pay you for following months, leave the money in your bank account. As soon as they figure out they've made the mistake, they go back into your account and pull those funds out. So don't spend that money, okay?
What
They
if
will
it's just
pay-
regular rent? Regular rent.
If it's regular rent, then Section 8 can't pull the funds out. But
No,
if
no,
it-
no, but if it's a regular, just a regular tenant and they pass in the middle of the month or something, or they pass on the 1st and they didn't pay the rent yet, do they still have to pay for that month or no?
Well, if they hadn't paid for that rent yet, you would have a 3-day in place and be ready to start the eviction
Yeah.
against the estate.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you can't evict dead people. You got to evict their estate. Okay, and that's me talking to you. There's so many times I've seen what do you mean a dead person is evicting you? They can't. So you got to really watch that. You can't name the dead person, but you can name the estate of the dead person. Got it? It's a tricky one when you're dealing with a death in the unit, and you're right. The daughter will come forward, the aunt will come forward, the cousin will come forward. Everybody comes out of the woodwork trying to get something. And the reality is we need to deal with this as the next of kin. Hang on, I saw more questions come through. Patty, I want to install surveillance cameras. What are the rules? Do I need to notify my tenants of the presence of cameras? The cameras will capture some front doors and common areas. Do I need to capture all front doors and common areas? Common areas are great. You don't want it posted right up against one person's front door, but if it's standing backwards and hitting the common area and it catches their front door, so be it, okay? You can't have your cameras pointed right at their front door or right in a window. Other than that, you should be fine.
Talking
Question.
about cameras, yes, talking about
Yes.
cameras. Video is fine, but what about audio? Are you permitted to, I hear different stories, audio recording, is it permitted? Does it have to be placed
Stop,
in notice
stop,
or
stop.
what's going on there? Yes.
Stop. This is the easiest thing I could tell you. Do not call them security cameras, call them surveillance cameras. There is no law regarding audio and video. It's surveillance.
Okay, thanks.
Don't overthink it. And make sure you call them surveillance cameras everywhere. Question I asked this last week, and I'm sorry, but I think Arlene or Val added to this and I didn't quite get it. That's okay. Tenant still owes partial security deposit plus August rent. So how do I write that up in a 3-day? I already served the 3-day for August rent and he didn't respond. You can do a cure or quit for them not paying the security deposit. So it goes on a curable breach of covenant notice for the security deposit. But then you got to pick which one's going to get you to court. Is it the deposit or the rent? I say go after the rent. If you're already at a 3-day that's completely compliant with the law, meaning you served it to the municipality that governs you and it's where it should go and it's rock solid, start your eviction. Let go of the security deposit. And then what Val was saying was, when you take in that first rent, apply that all as the deposit, and then what they owe is rent, not the deposit. but you're past that point. So for now, they owe you rent. They haven't paid in 3 days. If all of your ducks are in a row and your documentation is good, my opinion is start the eviction. Don't wait. And now you're evicting for non-payment of rent for whatever that may be. Let go of the security deposit, meaning stop fighting for it. It's not your money anyway. I hope that helped. Right. Go after the 3 day. If your 3 day pay rent or quit has already been served to the municipality that governs you, and I'm assuming this property's in LA County is why I'm saying that. And that's been done and your notice is spot on. Don't waste any time, file the case. Everybody was concerned about a big influx of evictions hitting our court systems this month. We didn't get them. There wasn't a big influx. So hang on a second, I'm gonna tell you guys, and I may have to go get my sticky note off my desk. Please pause, stay tuned for 1 second while I run as fast as I can to my desk to get a sticky note that's on my monitor so I can give you the heads up on the COVID rents and when they're due. I don't remember the date parameters, so I gotta go get the sticky off my desk. Hang on, I will be right back. Hold on, please. 1 moment. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Sorry, I know I'm a wackadoo sometimes. Okay. For rents owed from March 1st of 2020, when COVID started, to September 30th of 2021. Got that? So from March 1st of 2020 to 9/30 of 2021. All those COVID rents are due right now. You can evict right now if they owe you money during that time period. From October 1st of 2021 through January 31st of 2023, that money is due on February 1st of 2024. So for right now, if you have somebody that owes you COVID rents and they're living in your property and they owe you from March 1st of 2020 to September 30th of 2021, you can serve a 3-day pay rent or quit and start eviction now for that money. We thought we'd see a huge influx in the court systems for people that owed money during this time. There's no influx. We don't have a huge following for that time period. So if you have somebody that owes you rent monies during that COVID period of March 1st of 2020 to September 30th of 2021, that rent is due now. It is delinquent now, and you can evict them now.
Patty, can you repeat the second dates, the 10/1/2021 till, I didn't get that.
Yep, I got you guys all day long. And see, I have it on a sticky on my desk because I can't remember it either. March 1st of 2020 to September 30th of 2021, those COVID rents became due on 8/1 of 23. They're due now. For the COVID period of October 1st of 21 through January 31st of 23, those rents are due on February 1st of 2024. So in February upcoming. So starting in February of 1st of 24, you can evict for any monies you weren't paid during COVID. Now, I saw somebody ask, there's a bunch of people all coming in at the same time. So somebody's webinar must have ended somewhere or something happened. So to answer your questions as best as I can, starting February of next year, all the COVID rents are due. If people owe you money during COVID, you need to be ready to evict in February, okay? I saw somebody's question come of why isn't there a big influx in the court? I can tell you why. Paying attention? Most of the first time period was covered under housing is key. So if you were paid by the government, then the tenant doesn't owe you that rent. The other thing that we're seeing come about is when we're serving the 3-day notices for the past due COVID rent, the tenant moves out in 3 days. So they're not staying in possession and fighting to keep the property. They're running, scared because they know. Okay, so keep that in mind of when that rent's due. If you guys need the dates again, let me know. I'll give them to you. Okay, hang on. I got to go backwards. Okay, question. I asked this last week. Okay, we answered that. When can you please send a link for RSO and LAHD for notices? I had a hard time finding the right place. Arlene, send me an email at FastEvict and I'll email you the links directly. Okay? San Bernardino County, studio dwelling. Owner just updated the unit, but the stove has no hood or no vent of any kind. Is that okay? Girl, you know what I'm going to tell you. I can't answer that. You need to check with building and safety. Building and safety is most likely going to tell you that any gas appliance needs to be vented to the outside.
Patty, electric stove can be recirculated. Am I correct?
Yes. It could be, but any gas appliance needs to be vented to the outside. And because I don't know if it's a gas stove or an electric stove, I can't answer that. I hope that makes sense. Second tenant, 2 tenants in evictions with fast evict and neither responded, so cases go straight to sheriff lockout with the help of the tenants. I can't believe it. You had 2 tenants in eviction with my office at fast evict. Neither one of them responded, so the cases went to sheriff lockout. All with the help of the tenants. You can't believe it. Melanie, we try really hard to give you the best customer service possible. I'm very happy that your cases went smoothly and that you're happy with fast evict. That makes me ecstatic, okay? I will tell you this. Somebody asked me not too long ago, hey, Patty, how long does it take to do an eviction in LA County? I don't know. It depends on what your tenant does, right? So I picked a case and I watched it. I held its hand all the way through to sheriff lockout. Sheriff lockout happened 61 days after we filed the case. Judgment was entered prior to 60 days from case filing, so that tenant has an eviction on their credit, and we got the lockout done within 61 days of filing the case. I'm not telling you that all cases in LA County are that smooth and that quick, but for the most part, we're seeing less and less resistance coming about. Okay, we are seeing them go straight to sheriff lockout and go quietly. Why do I think that there's not an influx of evictions because of this COVID rent being due? Because those tenants are either vacating or it was paid by housing is key. Where we're going to see the bigger influx is in February, because that's when housing is key ran out of money, remember? Oh, so I got a feeling we're going to see more of it happen then. But that's why, Geraldo, I think that there's not an influx of evictions with the COVID rents because it was paid by housing is key, or those tenants have vacated. They're not still in possession, and that's just what I think. I saw something else. Patty, do I always have to disclose that an applicant or someone has passed away in the unit before re-renting it? No, you only have to do that for the next 3 years. It's a requirement. And let me say this about a death in a property, okay? And hang on, somebody's trying to get in. Whenever you're dealing with a death in a unit, it causes the heebie-jeebies for some people, okay? So what I try to do is you're required to disclose that somebody died in that unit for the next 3 years. I always disclose it when they call about the listing in the paper, you know? That's when I tell them. Because here's the reality of it. If they have the heebie-jeebies that somebody died there and they can't live there because somebody died there, you don't want them as a tenant. Understand? Okay? You don't want to encourage them to live there. It's okay. The person that died was a really nice guy. I mean, he was great, you know? It doesn't matter. The reality is you are required to disclose if someone died in that unit for the next 3 years. If you fail to do it, they will sue you. You do not have to disclose in writing. So I always tell them, hey, just letting you know that somebody passed away in that house. We have to disclose it to you. And they're going to immediately ask, how did they die? You can't answer that. You don't know. You're not a doctor. So what I always say is they passed away peacefully. There wasn't a violent crime, because you know what's going to happen? The neighbors are going to talk to them. The neighbors are going to tell them anyway. So do not lie. Do not fib. Do not get yourself in trouble here. Got it? Unfortunately, I wasn't told how they died or why they died, but the tenant was great. He was a great person. You know, you can try until you're blue in the face. If they don't want to live where somebody died, they're not going to live there. Don't try to coerce them. It will bite you. So I always tell them, hey, just to let you know, the last resident passed away in the property due to natural causes, died in their sleep, whatever. If that's okay with you, we'd be more than happy to show you the property. If that's not okay with you, I have another unit available. I disclose it on the phone when they're inquiring about the property, while I'm standing there ready to show them the property and before they sign the lease contract. So 3 places, and you're only required to verbally disclose. Okay? So those are the 3 places I do it. At hello on the phone, before we walk into the property, before we sign the lease. Okay? Usually you're going to get your biggest, oh no, I can't do that, on the phone at hello. You'll get it again at the property. Don't show them the unit. If this isn't going to work for them, don't waste your time. Okay? It's a time suck when somebody dies in a property. No joke. Don't waste your time. Don't try to convert them. Okay? Patty, I have someone that owes me rent for April of 22 to September of 22. April of 22 to September of 22. Well, you could sue them right now on a 3-day from April. Oh, no, you can't, because it's of 21. You can't do anything until February of 24. Okay, Anna? And moved out of a Larso. They moved out. If they moved out, they owe the money now. The only thing that's allowing them time to pay the COVID rents back is that they're still in possession. Once they vacate, all the money becomes due and payable now. If you get judgment entered within 60 days of filing an eviction, the eviction shows on the tenant's credit report, unless you stipulated to have the record sealed. Yes, you should be afraid of that, Geraldo. You should be very afraid of that. Remember, don't be afraid of what you can see. Be afraid of what you can't see. Okay? I'm not sure if you answered already. I had a phone call and may have missed it. San Bernardino County studio dwelling. Owner just updated the unit, but the stove has no hood or vent of any kind. Gas appliance is required to be vented to the outside. So if it's an electric stove, that might be okay with building and safety, but they're going to be the ones that can answer that. Is building and safety or code enforcement, not me. LARSO no longer needed to disclose death. Huh? Surrey, what are you talking about? You have to disclose a death in a unit for 3 years. And that's a state law. So LARSO has to do it too. The entire state of California has to do it. Okay? So you have to disclose a death in a unit if it happened within the 3 years. Okay? Everybody got that? Everybody know that, okay? In the event someone dies in a property, you are required to disclose that they died in the property for the next 3 years. The idea is to get a tenant that lives there for longer than 3 years, so you only have to disclose it to them. You have to disclose a death in a unit of a residential dwelling for 3 years after the death occurred. If you have knowledge. What public documentation shows death in a unit? What law code describes all of this? There is no public documentation that shows a death in a unit, and I'll have to look up the civil code that says that we as housing providers must disclose if a death happened inside the unit for the past 3 years. If they died in the house 4 years ago, you don't have to disclose it anymore. If they dropped dead from a heart attack or a drug overdose in the common area, they didn't die in your unit, so you don't have to disclose it. If they die in the property, you have to disclose it for 3 years. Has to do with real estate law. And it is a requirement throughout the entire state of California. Okay? When can rents increase in LA City, LARSO, or elsewhere? LA City or anything governed by RSO cannot have a rent increase until February of next year. They are on a rent freeze. So anything governed by RSO is on a rent freeze until February of next year. You asked me, when can you increase the rents? Well, I don't know if on February they're going to put another rent freeze in place. So we're going to have to wait and see. As far as everywhere else, we've been raising rents. Riverside County, San Bernardino County could raise rents starting October of 2022. So could Orange County. Orange County, San Diego County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Kern County, Inyo County, and Ventura County could raise rents starting October of 2022. LA City and LA RSO are on a rent freeze. They cannot raise rents until February of next year. They cannot raise rents through the entire COVID pandemic. AGLA and AOA have a lawsuit against the city for this, just so you know. I lost my water and I'm thirsty. Any more questions? I like questions. Especially when I can answer them.
Did you catch any fish?
On my first fishing trip, it was the best fishing trip of my life. I wonder if I could put a photo in the chat. And then on my second fishing trip, I went out with my brother. I caught a mackerel off the dock, a kelp bass that was too short I had to throw back, and a sheephead I could keep. My brother didn't catch anything. He's 20 years older than I am. So his little sister skunked his butt fishing, and his friends will never let him live that down. Because we went fishing with my brother's friends. And my brother didn't catch nothing. And I mean nothing. Even one of his friends caught something and said, "Hey, Jay, come reel this in for me." So he went over there to reel it in, and there was a fish on it. When they were done reeling it in, they both looked at me like, "Did you see? Did you see?" And I just looked at him and shook my head. No, he didn't catch that. No, he didn't. But yes, I had a good time fishing. Thank you for asking. And on my first fishing trip that I went on the 2-day or the 3-day, 2-night overnight, best fishing trip of my life. We filled the back deck of the boat with halibut and white sea bass, most fish I've ever brought home. I want to do that again. What are the chances of the parts of SB 567 that say the tenant must be given a choice of temporary relocation and to return at previous rates or permanent relocation in 6 months of market rent will pass? What are your thoughts? We're in a pro-tenant state. So the likelihood of the laws passing to continue to benefit tenants are high. I'm also watching Assembly Bill 12. That's also up on the ballot for vote in November. We want to vote no against that. That's limiting the amount of security deposit we can take on a fully furnished unit, or even if somebody has crappy credit, sometimes we tell them we can rent to you with a higher deposit. We're not going to be able to do that anymore if that one passes. Any sneaky things applicants do when they're trying to rent your units? Yeah, where should I start? Any sneaky things they do. Yes, you can actually get pay stubs generated off Google. It's $4.99 per pay stub. So there's certain things you can watch for on those pay stubs, like it may say fill in dollar amount here. I don't know about you guys, but hear me out, okay? I have never, ever in my lifetime had a job or a career that allowed me to fill in an amount on my pay stub. Oh, if you can fill in an amount on the pay stub, wouldn't we all put $6 million a month? That's what I would put. If there's something on their pay stub that doesn't make sense, pay attention to it. If you're really questioning it, take a picture of it, email it to me, and just show me, hey, what do you think of this? Chances are I'm going to help you call it out as it happens. Also, if their tax deductions don't match on the year to date, there's probably some tomfoolery going on there. If their year to date says that they made $320 and their paycheck stub in front of you says that they made $1,900 this pay period, something's not right. Something doesn't make sense. Okay, pay attention to those little things that don't make sense. So rent controlled or no rent increases or on unit or separate parking agreement. I am not sure if the rent increase freeze for LA City and Larceau properties only is affected by residential dwellings. A parking agreement would be considered a commercial agreement, not a residential dwelling. Ding, ding. I hope that's making sense to you guys. Death notices, California Civil Code 1710.2, and it's 3 years. Thank you, Arlene. I appreciate you. See you guys. I'm not crazy when I'm telling you there's laws out there about this stuff. I'm not Looney Tunes, I promise. I'm giving you facts. Sometimes I just don't have the civil code memorized. And thank you, Arlene, for looking that up for me. I'm actually screenshotting it so I can put it in my mental brain, in my file, and hope that when somebody asks me that in the future, I'll be able to recall the civil code correctly. Is it wise to raise 10% or more to stay at or below 8.83% CPI? Here's my problem, G. Jones. I don't know what city you're talking about. Oh, see how that worked? Because remember, in some counties, it's 8.8. Every county is different on what the CPI is. And if you guys don't know this yet, I'm going to tell you right now. Are you paying attention? Okay. This only has to do with the CPI. Got it? Only the CPI. You can go to Fast Eviction's website, click on tools, and there's two tools in there for you. One is a CPI calculator that generates a CPI based on your zip code. And the other one is helping you figure out how to do a prorate. So I have a prorate calculator up there for you and also a CPI generator. Remember, okay, it is not 10% anymore. A lot of these municipalities have went to 9.8, 8.8. So we have to know where we are in the county, what the zip code is before we do a rent increase. 10% would only apply to a single family residence exempt from the Tenant Protection Act and any city's ordinance. Remember, some of these city municipalities have their own rules regarding rent increases. Some cities say you can only increase by the CPI. Baldwin Park is a great example. It says you can do a rent increase by the CPI or 3%, whichever is higher. Oh, so if the CPI is only 2.6%, that's all you can raise in that city. So your city municipalities in LA County have additional restrictions you need to be made aware of, not just the Tenant Protection Act, also known as AB 1482, also known as California Civil Code 1946.2, I believe. I dropped my sticky note. I had to go pick it up. It was driving me crazy. It was on the floor just sitting there. I'm like, no, I can't have that. All right. Oh, I see more things coming through. Struthers Legal has good info for the person with a death in a unit. Hope it helps. There you go. Check it out. Arlene's trying to help us. And G. Jones is telling us San Bernardino County, certain areas of LA County. So remember, the CPI varies by county, and you can find out what that is off Fast Eviction's website. Okay. And if you're exempt from everything, then the limit would be 10%. Listen to me carefully. Do not do anything over 10%. Okay. We are always in a state of emergency. Always. We're currently in a state of emergency in several counties because of the hurricane that just came through. That state of emergency will be in effect for 30 days and then 30 days after it expires. So for the next 60 days, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Orange County, San Diego County, LA County, all in a state of emergency because of the hurricane. Ventura County is in a state of emergency because of the earthquake. We're always in a state of emergency. So the chances of you being able to increase rents over 10% ever are slim and none. Okay? Don't forget to ask. If anybody's asking you to raise rents over 10%, I just have one question. Do you look good in orange? I don't. I can't fit in an orange jumpsuit. Not me. I don't look good in orange, especially an orange jumpsuit. So February 1st of 2024, single family exempt from 1482, LA City, how much can you raise rents? Ask me on February 1st of 2024, Arlene. Because I got a feeling they're going to extend it in the city of LA. But technically, 10% if they don't extend the rent freeze. Patty, I have to hop off early for an inspection. See you next week. Thank you. Thank you, Erin. Love you. Have fun at your inspection. I hope it's on your property and the inspector realizes that your tenant is a POS. And I don't mean point of sale. Have a great day. Bye, darling. Is San Bernardino County in the state of emergency? Yes. Gavin Newsom passed a state of emergency for 5 Southern California counties that were affected by the hurricane. San Bernardino is one of them. San Bernardino, Riverside, San Diego, Orange County, LA County, and I don't think they did it in Ventura County for the hurricane. Ventura County got it because of the earthquake. So let me tell you this. Price gouging during a state of emergency was a law that came about January 1st of 2016. Since January 1st of 2016, there have been 3 months, and I think it was in 2021. It was right after the monkeypox. We had 3 months of no state of emergency in San Bernardino County, and then we got hit again because of something else. Okay, so there were 3 months only in Southern California that we weren't in a state of emergency from 2016 when the law was implemented. Because of fire, floods, earthquakes, rains, anything they declare a state of emergency for, it affects a victim, not an area. So if your tenant was a victim of that state of emergency and you raise rents over 10%, that's when you could be considered guilty of price gouging during a state of emergency. To be safe, just always stay at 10% or less on your properties that are not governed by the Tenant Protection Act.
Patty, one question.
Yes,
I just checked tools on fast eviction. It says that I'm allowed to increase 9.6%. Already passed notices for 10%. Do I have to serve them again because I went over by 0.4%?
are you subject to the Tenant Protection Act?
Yes.
Then you need to correct it.
Okay.
No joke. You need to correct it because it's an illegal rent increase. So what I would do is just send them a new notice stating that the previous increase was an error and the actual increase amount will be blank, and send that out.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Ooh, it's hot where I'm at in this room that I'm sitting in. There's no air in it, so I'm sorry. I'm starting to melt from the inside out. What is the Tenant Protection Act? What number? Honey, it's the same thing. The Tenant Protection Act is AB 1482. It's just a different name for it. Just like California Civil Code 1942.2 is the civil code they gave AB 1482. So AB 1482 became a civil code. It's also called the Tenant Protection Act. It has 3 different names, but it's all the same thing. Tomato, tomato. Okay? And don't confuse it with the Tenant Protection Ordinance. That's what they're doing in San Diego County. When did the 10% increase expire? Did it expire on 8/1? Yes, it did. Thank you for understanding that that's when that comes about. Somebody's trying to call me, I apologize. And considering who it is, I'm going to yell at him later because he knows I'm in this webinar right now. So the 10% increase expired on 9/30 of 2023 when the new CPI took over. I hope that makes sense. For the city of Los Angeles, not under rent control, it's a duplex. Is it subject to AB 1482? Yes. But I have other questions. If you're in LA City and you're not under rent control, why? You have a duplex. Why are you not under rent control for LA City? It should be under RSO. If it's exempt from RSO, then it's subject to 1482 unless the landlord lives in one unit. So you got a lot of moving parts there, Teresa. Ah, that's why, I knew there was a reason. So because it's built in 2003, it's exempt from LA City's garbage. It's exempt from LARSO. It's a duplex, but she lives in one unit, so that makes her exempt from AB 1482. So the chances of you being exempt from everything is very high, Teresa, but the city is still in a rent increase freeze. No rent increases in LA City. That's the lawsuit that AGLA is involved with. Okay, that's the lawsuit that AOA is involved with. It's unethical. That we can't raise rents in the city. It's bullshit. Throughout the whole COVID pandemic, and still now we can't. Why? Until February. Why? What's going to happen in February? Are they going to do it to us again? I hope everybody's doing something wonderful for this long Labor Day weekend. And for those of you that are signed up for AGLA's class with me on Wednesday next week, just so you know, they moved it to Friday. So AGLA's actually having me teach a class all about AB 1482. And if it governs you, it was scheduled for Wednesday next week. They moved it to Friday, just so everybody knows. And it's about AB 1482 and understanding what governs you. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get out of here. It's hot. Oh, there's more stuff coming in. Like standing on your head and raise your left leg at the same time. Yeah, exactly, Teresa. It's a class on AB 1482 and what that means to you, I think is what they called it, or does that govern you or something of those lines? So that's what the class is about. Go to AGLA, aagla.org. If you're a member with them, my classes through them are free. And I teach classes for them every month. Next year, they're going to 2 classes a month. So I'll do one in the beginning of the month and one towards the end of the month. It's not AOA USA. I don't teach for them. It's AGLA. It's aagla.org. I would love to teach for AOA, but they just don't play nicely when it comes to that type of thing. Will you still have your meetup on next Wednesday at noon? Yes, I'm sticking with them. Wednesdays at noon. We tried to do it at 8 o'clock at night. It didn't work out. This seems to be a better time slot for you guys, so I'm sticking with it. I will be back on Wednesday. I tell them AOA USA to play nice. Yeah, AOA is strictly for profit. Whereas somebody that's involved with the National Apartment Association, like AGLA, part of your dues go to help these lobbyists in Sacramento fight the legislation that's against us. So AOA, your membership dollars go to help all of us landlords, and somewhere like, sorry, I said that ass backwards. Someone like AGLA, when you pay your membership dollars, it goes to benefit all of us. When you pay AOA, it benefits one person, the owner of the company. Okay, so that's the difference in the best way that I could describe it to you. AGLA is part of the National Apartment Association that has a PAC fund that fights the lobbyists in Sacramento. It helps us all as landlords. So AGLA, although they're a little bit more expensive, about $50 more a year, if I had to guess, that $50 more that you pay goes straight to Sacramento and helps the lobbyists fight the legislation against landlords. So the money goes somewhere. Yeah, AGLA is a better bang for your buck than AOA. And that's just an opinion. I know more than I should, and I'm trying to keep my mouth shut. AOA is strictly for profit. That's why you see AGLA have more thorough documentation, more thorough documents, things of that nature. AGLA is a better fit. Yeah, I would join AGLA. That way you know your membership dollars are going to help all landlords in the state of California. Can you talk to me next time about the repeal of the death tax issue? Sure. Whatever you need. But yeah, I can talk to you about that, and email me. I'll email you the links on how to get to upload your notices to LARSO and DCBA and LAHD. I know a trick. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. It's hot. Trying to understand the laws and rules for City of LA is getting difficult. Teresa, I know a secret. Are you ready? I taught this in my class last week, but if you weren't here, I gotta go get a note off my desk. You go to Stay Housed LA. Okay, stayhousedla.org. Stay, S-T-A-Y, housed, H-O-U-S-E-D, LA, like Los Angeles, .org. Okay, this is a website for tenants, but work with me here. When it opens up, it says there's a place on there to get started, and right next to it, it says the eviction process. Click on the eviction process, okay? Then comes up a bunch of questions. Scroll down under those questions, and there is a place when the page changes color from the white background to the multicolor background. There's a place to enter your address. Enter the property address, address specific, and hit enter, and it will bring up who governs that address. This is what tenant attorneys are using. It's where they're getting their information on who governs that address. So shouldn't we be using the same information? Got it? stayhousedla.org. It covers everything within LA County and tells you who governs it. Property specific by address. No, we don't need the same. We just need to go to their website and get the same information their attorneys are using so that we're all reading the same book and following the same rules. You're welcome. stayhousedla.org. It's priceless. All right, if you guys need anything else, you know how to find me. Have a wonderful week. I'm getting off of here. Enjoy your holiday weekend, everybody. And if you need anything, please reach out to me. I'm here to help you. Rules, codes are not written good. You're right, they're not written good. Oh, thank you, Anna. Anytime, you guys, have a great week. Check out that Stay Housed LA website. I know it's built for tenants, but you guys, it's giving you everything you need to know. Just pay attention. I saw something else. What did that say? We have to ask you. What do you have to ask me, Teresa? Yes, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Teresa, you have to ask me everything. Well, it's okay. I'm here to answer. But it's a great tool for us in LA County. I use it on a daily basis. Somebody calls me and asks me what the rules are in their area. First thing I do now is ask for their address and plug it in and then read the rules in their area. It helps tremendously, okay? All right, you guys, have a great week. I'll see you next Wednesday. Enjoy your weekend. Please stay safe. And if you need anything, you know how to hunt me down. Bye, everybody.